programs that affect average Americans. I have spent last night and today speaking with leaders in Washington, local elected leaders, nonprofit organizations, and my agency heads to make sure that we are doing all we can to stand up for working families and the most vulnerable people in our state who are affected by these cuts. The United States Constitution clearly states that Congress has the power of the purse and sets laws to obligate federal funding for all 50 states. What Donald Trump tried to do in the last 24 hours is illegal. Let's be clear. This is a demonstration of cruelty against people who depend on us. Working families who rely on federal assistance to pay their rent, people who need help paying their utility bills, parents who need critical programs like Head Start for quality, affordable childcare, and 3.5 million Illinoisans who get their health insurance through Medicaid. Despite what the White House press secretary said at the podium earlier, I believe it is my duty to report to you the truth of what actually happened today in Illinois. Donald Trump's administration is lying to you. The White House's attempt to walk back what they did today does not match what we saw on the ground. They assured us that Medicaid would not be affected. That was a lie. Our state agencies were unable to access the Medicaid system until an hour ago, preventing payments for services. And this has been reported from states across the nation. When we reached out to federal agencies, they informed us that they have been directed not to discuss any guidance with states. They have canceled previously scheduled meetings for this week. The White House assured us that Head Start would not be affected. That was a lie. Providers across the state experienced outages, and some were unable to make their payroll. They assured us that they were doing nothing to take away individual assistance from the most vulnerable people in our state. But they refused to say that they would restore LIHEAP, the Low-Income Housing Energy Assistance Program, payments to support the unemployment system, and Meals on Wheels. These are programs that hundreds of thousands of Illinoisans depend on: children, seniors, veterans, working parents. Let's just be clear about what happened over the last 24 hours. At 7:42 p.m. last night, we saw a memo from the White House saying that they were pausing federal funding across the board. This morning, along with all 50 states across the country, we discovered that our ability to access critical federal funding had been cut off. And now the administration would like us to believe that these were just coincidental website outages. Donald Trump and his administration have not earned the benefit of the doubt. They are either lying to us or they are critically incompetent. This is what happens when you staff the federal government full of Project 2025 contributors that don't have any experience governing and don't think that the laws apply to them. The consequences of their actions are not hypothetical. They are not numbers on a spreadsheet. These are real people, ordinary Americans struggling to afford groceries, rent, and health care. Donald Trump promised to lower prices for average Americans his first week in office. Name one thing that he's done to accomplish that. Prices have gone up, not down. Let me say this in no uncertain terms. What the president is trying to do is illegal. Let me say that again. What the president is trying to do is illegal. I know these are challenging times, and the Trump administration is trying to confuse the American people. That's why it's so important that we speak plainly. I was very happy to hear as I entered this room today that an administrative stay has been granted. Let me assure you, the state of Illinois will fight this unlawful order with everything we have. We're working with the Attorney General, who has moved forward with other states to continue pursuing legal action to protect the people of Illinois. Last November, on the day after the election, I made a promise to the people of Illinois. When it comes to threats to our freedom, health, or security, if you come for my people, you come through me. And with that, I'd like to introduce our Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton.
Hello, everyone. I am deeply disturbed by the actions that bring us together. The Trump administration has made an unquestionable declaration of where their values lie. This is an attack on the nation's most vulnerable populations to cut seniors off from food or strip access to health care from critical patients. Is a display of cruelty driven by the values of this new administration. If it feels like you are being asked to subscribe to a nation fueled by hate over hope and retribution over problem solving, you are not imagining things. Whatever you are feeling right now is justified. And because the actions taken today do not respond to the very real needs of everyday Americans, you're going to hear a lot of noise. Hear me when I say, no amount of backpedaling can override the truth they just dropped at our feet. This dizziness, this nausea, the panic, it's all intentional. It is not a mistake that websites are suddenly going dark just as people start to ask questions. This level of chaos was intended when President Trump and the people in his ear made these decisions. Let's stop ourselves from thinking in numbers and start thinking of faces. A family relying on federal utility support could go cold as soon as tonight. An expecting mother with an ultrasound scheduled tomorrow may still be wondering if Medicaid will cover that appointment. And a nonprofit in your community, meeting the needs of your neighbors, is about to conduct layoffs or close their doors completely. Someone you love will suffer because Trump's administration has chosen to trample on the United States Constitution and dishonor the promises made to the people who elected them. The comparison between what drives leaders across this country has never been laid out more clearly. Every year since the Pritzker-Stratton administration stepped into office, we have clawed higher and higher out of the hole our predecessors dug. And year after year, Illinois has gotten stronger. Illinois is a resilient state, home to the most resilient people. We weather the harshest winters, and every spring we emerge more vibrant than we were at the first snowfall. But right now, we are standing in the middle of an Arctic blast, perpetuated by ego and a disdain for basic human decency. But we will not be buried, because we, your leaders, made a promise to stand up for each and every one of you, whether you agree with us or not. If you take nothing else away from today, take this. Donald Trump's administration has declared that their values are rooted in hate and the whims of a small few, but Illinois' values are rooted in compassion as we work to uplift every community and every person without discrimination. There is no hate in Illinois' heart. I cannot say the same for the White Houses. Elections have consequences, and they're playing out right before your very eyes. And with that, I'll pass it to Attorney General Kwame Raoul.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Last night, I had one of my staff members stay up most of the night drafting a lawsuit in conjunction with 4 other states who were contributing to the drafting of the lawsuit that will be filed today in Rhode Island. On behalf of Americans and all Illinois residents, I want to thank the governor and all the agencies that contributed to getting us the needed information for this action. The framers of our Constitution gave the power of the purse to Congress, not to the president. In our lawsuit, we allege that our Constitution, through the separation of powers in Article 1, Section 1, and through the spending clause, gives Congress alone the responsibility to approve the appropriation and spending of federal funds, including to the states. The executive branch does not have the authority under the Constitution or federal law to pause or impose conditions on federal funding when those actions are arbitrary and capricious or otherwise violate the law, including the Administrative Procedures Act. This freeze will have a devastating impact, as you've heard, but it will have a devastating impact on public safety, prosperity, and quality of life for all Americans, and certainly citizens in the state of Illinois. I want to state clearly that Democrats and Republicans alike will negatively be impacted by the pause in funding. It impacts our ability, our office's ability, to go after offenders who prey on our children, because it impacts our Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. That task force has enabled us to capture a record number of child predators. Since 2019, over 900 child sexual predators have been arrested. In addition, the freeze impacts burn JAG funding that undermines the work that our law enforcement partners try to do to fight crime. It impacts our ability to provide for our veterans who have served our country. Head Start and child care programs, devastating blow to research conducted by our universities and research labs. It takes away critical support to operations for agriculture. And, you know, we heard a lot about the price of eggs over the last few weeks. One of the things it impacts is the ability for inspectors to make sure that salmonella doesn't contaminate our eggs and creates a backlog. And Illinois is one of the major producers of eggs. So I don't want to hear Donald Trump talk about the price of eggs anymore. I don't know who's advising OMB on this act. I don't know if Dr. Phil is somehow embedded in OMB now. But I can tell you that on January 20th, we had a peaceful transfer of power. We had an inauguration, but it was not a coronation. Congress is given the power to appropriate. The executive branch cannot unilaterally disregard appropriations passed by a separate and equal house of government. While I am sincerely prepared to work with the new administration, as I did during the first Trump presidency, I will not stand silent while they try to impose unconstitutional mandates. And with that, I pass it back to the governor.
Thanks. Happy to take questions from members of the media. Yeah, Olivia.
Governor, did you see any reports of like actual patients who were affected by the Medicaid issue today, or was it just kind of between the governments speaking to each other? And at what point would it start to affect patients?
Let's step back just for a moment and let me remind you that nothing that came in the memo last night would indicate that all of a sudden you'd have the systems going offline. And yet that's exactly what happened, because they intend to make cuts to these programs. That's why they went offline. Don't let them fool you that there was some kind of website outage. That's not what happened. And so when does this affect people? Well, every day we access the Medicaid system to get reimbursed for people's services that they get from their doctors. every day. $104 million is what we would have gotten today had we been able to access it on time. And so it does affect us, and it affects people's ability to access services. And let me remind you again that their intention was not to pull it back online today. It's clear, right? You think it's an accident that the memo came out last night, and then this morning our state agencies like Medicaid could not access those systems. It's not an accident. The intention here is to disrupt. The intention here is to make cuts, and it will affect people all across our state. Yeah.
How does
Tina.
this impact your planning for your budget this year, what you've seen so far?
Yeah.
We're in 9. I'm sure that is there extra funding need for certain things, maybe more legal resources? How is it impacting that?
Well, as I've said, we don't know. We think that it may, and we're certainly thinking about how we will deal with that in the budget, but we don't know exactly. And that's one of the problems. Again, no communication. No communication. That memo actually wasn't to us, but it was posted online, so everybody could see it. And indeed, the actions that were taken today, no one was warned about. So we're not sure how we'll be affected, but we certainly are on guard.
You mentioned this.
Yes, Paris.
The judge has already put a stay on.
Yes.
Does that mean that all the grants, universities, hospitals have to go back into action? Is everything back up and running?
Well, the concern, I mean, I'd like to turn it over to our Attorney General, but the concern is that when you've got, the efforts by the administration to cut those off, and then a temporary, this is only essentially a temporary restraint. There isn't a TRO, but it's a stay. We don't know when that'll be lifted. We don't know what the action will be. And if you're a university and you're planning on investing in research or laboratory work, right, do you start doing it now, not knowing if a week from now that temporary stay will be lifted? But I'd like to turn it over to the Attorney General.
That was actually
My laundry came in handy.
exactly right on point. And let's be clear, we are not party to that action in the district court in Washington, and so we don't control what may go one way or the other with that. The action that we and 21 other states are joined into is in Rhode Island, and it is a temporary stay, as the governor pointed out, and the unpredictability that's caused by this. And I can tell you, I started my day out at a higher education institution. Everybody's up in arms about this because you rely on predictability of what you will be able to spend throughout the year.
Yeah, and just to remind you that, if you're a doctor and you take Medicaid patients, which we want doctors to do, now you don't know if you're going to get reimbursed, and you don't know when that'll be lifted and when you're going to get paid. And we don't want to go back to the days of Bruce Rauner when people waited nearly forever to get paid.
Governor Pritzker.
Yes.
You stated.
You're in the wrong press conference room, aren't you? Haven't seen you here before. Welcome. Yeah.
You
Hey, you guys, good evening. Good afternoon. I'm sorry. I just wanted to jump in so I could fill you guys on what's happening. So, I did put the direct link. It's right here in the chat where you can hear the governor speaking on Trump administration attempted to freeze federal assistance. Trump said it was coming. He did say it was coming. Here's the direct link for you guys that want to go over it. I put it right here in the chat. So here's something that we know so far. So all of a sudden, a letter went out saying that he was going to attempt to freeze government assistance programs like LIHEAP, Medicare, things of that nature. And it was I think it was overruled. Let's read the article though. All of a sudden, all the systems went black. So like Medicare just blinked out. No one could get anything, stuff like that. So let's read it directly. Illinois and other states are cut off from the portal that used to request and manage Medicaid spending, according to officials in Governor J.B. Pritzker's office. The move follows President Donald Trump's directive to pause nearly all federal funding. Medicaid, the health care program for low-income people and families, is jointly administered by the federal and state government, which also share costs. They also mentioned Head Start and things of that nature as well, you guys. Let me continue. The Pritzker administration also signaled state agencies are having problems accessing other systems linked to federal programs. So that's why a lot of people are saying, you guys, EBT may be in trouble. So keep your fingers crossed. He hasn't gotten to that yet. The U.S. Constitution does not grant the president this unilateral authority, Pritzker wrote in a Monday night post on social media platform X. In Illinois, we will stand against unlawful actions that would harm millions of working families, children, and seniors. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul on Tuesday announced he is joining with other attorney generals in asking the courts to immediately block Trump's sudden pause of federal funding. In a memo to journalists, Pritzker's press conference said Tuesday that the Democrat has been speaking with the Illinois federal delegation, local elected officials, non-governmental organizations, nonprofits, and other governors. The governor has directed his senior team to assess the detrimental impacts of this unlawful action in the state's budget and services. Trump's administration officials said the decision was necessary, to ensure that all funding complies with the president's executive orders, which are intended to undo progressive steps on transgender rights, environmental justice, and diversity, equality, inclusions, and DEI efforts. Okay. So, Kwame Raoul is joining 2 other states to try to stop Trump from letting this happen. Okay. I'm going to keep on playing. Yeah, they did shut down the state for COVID. Get Bert Olderson, we need a recall, right? Seriously. You guys hit the like button. Let's continue. Let's just hope that people, he did mention Head Start program, Meals on Wheels may be in trouble. Oh gosh, and you guys know if you follow Thornton Township, like we already lost our food pantry. So if they stop Meals on Wheels, a lot of veterans and seniors depend on that. Also, Medicare. Medicaid, I'm sorry, I got them confused. Medicaid. So doctors did not get paid, and if they're not getting paid, they'll stop doing the services. This is insane. And that will overcrowd the hospitals where people can routinely just go to their doctors. This is crazy. Okay, you guys, hit the like button if you can. If you can, support the channel. I'll pin it in the description box. Other than that, just hit the like button. You being here is enough. Hey, we're almost at 9K. We're going to have a 9K burgundy party. Okay? Thanks for all your support.
Stated that Donald Trump has broken the law, and then you repeated that.
Yep.
You just mentioned that you are an attorney. Please tell me, what is the statute that he's broken?
Well, as I say, by the way, the court has recognized that he does not have the authority to stop what is a congressional mandate, a congressional law passed, signed by a previous president, been in law for many, many years, Medicaid, for example. He doesn't have the ability to stop them. So that is what's illegal.
Slightly off topic, but on the topic of the illegals, there are over 400,000 illegal aliens, migrants in the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago. Many of them have committed crimes, have detention orders. Essentially, as long as I can remember, due to the sanctuary city, now essentially state, and of course your Safety Act, essentially we have a revolving door of criminals committing heinous crimes, the most heinous of crimes. And I'm wondering, you were on CNN, you said that you wanted violent criminals to be removed from the state of Illinois. Are you going to hand over the list of repeat violent illegal alien offenders to town hall?
To be clear, people who are being held in our jails and prisons, we do not have a record of if they are undocumented or not. We don't keep those records. Hang on, the judge, that is not how a court system works. That's not how a corrections system work. When a judge sentences somebody, they are remanded to the Department of Corrections. We have their name, the sentence, we have the offense that they committed, and we keep them in our prison. And by the way, you don't want us to let them out of prison. When they do finally get out of prison, if there is a warrant, or while they're in prison, if a federal official shows up with a criminal warrant to pick them up, we hand them over. That's how it works. Look, we have worked with the federal government for many, many years in the state of Illinois to apprehend violent criminals of all sorts. We have task forces that work between the Chicago Police Department, the state of Illinois, the state police of Illinois, federal officials at the FBI, for example, right? That we work together to take guns off the streets, to take drugs off the streets, to go after gangs. And we continue to do that every day. So that is work that continues. And you should go back and read the Trust Act because it doesn't say what you are alleging it says. Yeah.
Counting several $1 billion worth of federal funding that is already kind of baked into the 5-year analysis that your administration put out in November. I mean, there's about $4 billion, each year that roughly you get from the federal government.
Yeah.
So with the deficit already projected, are you counting on that federal?
We're relying on the law, which says that, no, I mean, really, this is every year we know, this is the way we make projections. This has happened not just under Joe Biden or Donald Trump, but for many, many years in the past, right? If there is federal funding that is to come to the states, Medicaid is an example of it, we know what we will get from the Medicaid system when we submit those bills.
But given the uncertainty now, how are you planning on?
You can't. And as I said to Tina just a few minutes ago, we don't know exactly. We don't know what the impact on our budget will be. We're certainly trying to determine what contingencies we need to make. But right now, we're assuming the law will be followed. We're assuming the courts will follow the law. And so we've built that into the budget, but nothing more.
Governor,
Yeah,
like,
Shia.
do you have like an action plan, knowing that this could be ongoing? Like, do you have a team looking at what happens if?
Well, this is less than 24 hours old, so I appreciate your giving us credit for being able.
This would be coming.
Not quite like this. This was literally, this memo that came out last night was something quite sweeping. Now, could you imagine that they would go after the programs that they're going after? Sure, but certainly not all at once, which is what they've done. And we've seen it across the country. I've talked to governors, I've talked to other federal elected officials. No one expected this. Yeah.
Can I ask you this though? Other than legal challenges, what really can you do? As the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, elections have consequences.
Yeah.
And he has a majority in the House and the Senate. So other than complaining, what can you do?
Well, again, we can make sure that we're following the law, which we always do, and that the federal government is following the law when it comes to the state of Illinois. So that's most of what we can do. I think the rest is we've passed laws in the state of Illinois to protect people, and we'll continue to look for ways to continue to focus in on the things that are most threatened, and where they are threatened, we will take action.
Are the discretionary funds?
Wait, I'm sorry, I want to get somebody who hasn't.
Governor, several of the
Yes.
nonprofits that rely on this funding said that they've received questionnaires from the federal government asking very specific questions on how they use this funding, whether they use it to support documented it supports abortion. Should these programs, these leaders of these programs, should they be concerned? What message does it send that these types of questions are being asked of these nonprofits?
Well, first of all, I would ask the question, does the law suggest that the federal government has the ability now to impose new restrictions by virtue of the questions that may be asked? I don't know the answer to, because I don't know which agencies you're talking about, but I do know that they should make sure that they have a good attorney. Unfortunately, I think what the Trump administration is doing is a full employment act for lawyers. And the fact is that we need to protect the agencies that are serving the people of Illinois, so we're going to do everything that we can in Illinois to protect them. Yeah.
Can you clarify, have you been in contact with the administration? Have they reached out to you? Have you reached out to them and just not heard anything?
I think I said earlier in my remarks that when our agencies reached out to the federal agencies, we literally were informed that they are not to speak with us. Yeah.
Hi, Gordon.
Yes.
Can you explain how the Head Start program and the child care centers here in Illinois are going to be affected?
Yep. So I don't know how they'll be affected in the future. I can tell you what happened today and therefore what could happen. Today, there were several agencies, Head Start agencies, that would not have been able to pay their payrolls. And indeed, one of them informed us that if they couldn't get paid by the end of the day, that they might have to close their doors and lay everybody off. So, look, we know from the pandemic that our child care system across the country is fragile. And if you take one day, 1 week, 1 month,
Remember we said that, guys, when we were talking about Dalton and Thornton Township, someone was speaking on that, and remember it was the trickle down effect. Now the government shut down, now the Medicaid don't get paid, now the agency doesn't get paid, now people have to get laid off, the small businesses, trickle down.
month away from those payments, away from those agencies, they will likely close because they're on the edge. Remember, a lot of the agencies that provide these services don't have a balance sheet. So they don't have a bank account they can go to and rely upon while they're waiting to get paid. We saw that once again in Illinois under the previous governor when there were 2 years without a budget. We saw lots of agencies close and they sometimes never reopen. So the danger is very, very high.
Can you talk about the impacts of higher education, how you're planning on watching out for it, assuming this does go through?
Again, we have contemplated what might happen, and I think you saw today that there were a couple of universities that have stopped some of the programs that they were planning to go forward with. Again, not because they were in violation of law, but because they've been threatened now by the President of the United States and his administration unlawfully. But they are concerned that, waiting for a judge to finally make a decision might be devastating for a university. So we're going to do everything we can to protect them, but there are some things, we cannot make up for billions of dollars of Medicaid that might be taken away from the state of Illinois. We cannot make up for hundreds of millions of dollars that might go to universities or might be taken away from our state universities. So I'm concerned, deeply concerned.
This will be the last question.
What is your contingency plan, though? I just really want to understand. We've got like 2 or 3 weeks left to the budget, so there must be something that you can tell us in terms of the steps that the state is taking to address some of this.
Look, you saw that that COVID-19 you couldn't plan for, and yet months into a fiscal year, we had to make significant changes in our budget. We had to make cuts to deal with what we saw were deteriorating revenues to the state, right, because of COVID-19. We made $700 million of cuts to deal with that in 2020, 2021. We may have to do that in this budget, this coming budget, or in the current budget year. We just don't know. And so when you say contingency plans, it's not like there's some, magic money that's sitting in, buried under the governor's mansion or buried under the Capitol. There just isn't. We'll do what we need to do when the time comes, but we certainly are evaluating what that challenge might be and how we might overcome it. But I don't have an answer for you today. Again, 21 hours after we've been informed.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep, thank you.
Sorry, gotta go.
Illinois, we in danger, girl. Ooh. Oh, wow. You guys, I see a lot of people. Some people have difference of opinions. Some people agree, disagree. Conscious, if you're still here, can you cover what what happened? What they were warned about? I did not cover that. Um, the you know, the problem is people aren't prepared. You know what I mean? So if everything go out, they're not prepared. Like, look at the universities that could be using. The university said, "Nope, I'm out. You will not be." And I can almost think of what Illinois University straight up said, "Nope, we need our funding." Um, it's a lot of people that didn't prepare or engage or even know what was going to happen with the changeover of Donald Trump. So I wonder how this is going to happen. I mean, what's going to happen? So far, I guess we could breathe a little bit. It was a glitch, and then it came back on, but only tomorrow will tell. Oh, really? Trump said hand over illegals. They said no, so Trump said fine, cut the money. Whoa. It's all on Johns Hopkins University website. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. Thank you. King Charles, I got my handy dandy notepad. Don't leave, because we might cover anything. You know, this is new to me. Politics are new to me. So I'm not a political channel, but being in Thornton Township, where our mayor and supervisor is doing the things, it made me look into politics. Okay. So serve safe. Y'all, Illinois is highly dependent on these plans to help places like Shapiro, Fox, Choate, Ludman, and other SODCs. We also have a large number of CILAs and ICFDDs. People care is at risk. My gosh. So hold on, I'm gonna copy this too. I would like to research. So we know. Hold on, let me take your comment so we could talk about that. Okay, thank you for that. All right, let's talk about Dr. Phil. What is he doing here in Chicago? I guess this is a good. I mean, why did he pick Chicago? Does anyone know why Dr. Phil picked Chicago out of all the places in the world to go to? Anyone know? All right, let's take a look at NBC News. You guys hit the like button. Consider supporting the channel, because this video is not monetized, of course, because we gotta use all this good content, which we do not mind. And consider subscribing. We're almost at 9K subscribers. Can you believe it? I think this channel is, are we 3 years old? I don't know. I don't even remember when I started. But yeah, let's go. All right, let's see. Maybe 3 years old, no more. Okay, let's see what Dr. Phil, what is he doing? He's in Texas, from what we understand, right? Dr. Phil is from Texas. Oprah not up here no more, so that's the last time we saw Dr. Phil. That Cynthia, last time we saw Cynthia B, because I have two Cynthias. Cynthia B, last time we saw Dr. Phil's when Oprah was here. All right, let's go.
One of those ICE raids, as we saw there in Chicago, was Dr. Phil McGraw, the TV host embedded with U.S. immigration enforcement officers during an operation in Chicago on Sunday, defending President Donald Trump's deportation effort. Here's a clip of one of those arrests carried out with the Trump administration border czar Tom Homan.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You're Dr. Phil. You're Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with.
Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really?
All right, and with that, Dr. Phil McGraw joins Top Story once again. He's the host of Dr. Phil Primetime on Merit TV. Dr. Phil, it's great to see you again. So, Dr. Phil, I'm going to ask you this very plainly, right? Everyone knows who you are. You're a psychologist, Hall of Fame broadcaster, you're a celebrity. What exactly were you doing there this weekend on those raids?
Well, Tom, thanks for having me again. It's good to see you again. This is something that I deal with what people are interested in and how it's impacting their lives. And our viewing audience is very interested in these immigration laws and what's happening. It was one of the top issues on people's minds culturally and what's impacting their family. And we talk about the things that people are interested in on Merit TV. And what we want to do is show them with full transparency what's actually happening. And, there's been a lot of talk out there about sweeping through neighborhoods, just picking up people indiscriminately. And I wanted to see if that was happening. Part of my embedding within this group was to ask Tom Homan the hard questions. I asked him, are you just sweeping through neighborhoods and picking up people that are here illegally? And he said, no, that's not our intention. We have our plan right now is worst first. We're going after those that have the worst criminal records first. And this is a surgical, tactical plan to go in and get those people. And sanctuary cities are not letting them know when they have these people in custody so they can come to the jail and pick them up. And what's happening with sanctuary cities is they're creating that which they want the least, and that is they're causing these agents, as Gabe was talking about, to go into the communities and arrest these people on the job or in their neighborhoods. And when they go in to get someone that's a violent criminal, whoever's with them, they're going to find out who those people are, and they may wind up arresting them as well. Because when they run into someone that is in the country illegally, they are going to detain them and move them for deportation. That's not going to happen if they'll let them know when these people are in jail and being released back into the community.
Yeah.
Pick them up right there.
Dr. Phil, from what you saw, were these undocumented immigrants being treated humanely?
Absolutely. I was there at 4 a.m. when they had the debriefing. This was a multi-agency meeting with ICE, DEA, ATF, FBI, U.S. Marshals, and their number one concern was the safety of their agents, of all the people in the community.
I have to pause this right here. Hey, Danny. Hey, you guys. Didn't you guys notice that Dr. Phil is getting more and more political, like Dr. Oz? Isn't Dr. Oz, wasn't he recommended for something with Trump, right? So maybe that's what he's trying to do. I'm sorry. Who was Dr. Oz gonna be? Did he make it? I'm sorry, y'all. Forgive me. I fell into the political stuff, so I'd love to have this discussion with you. Thank you for everybody giving great information. I'm screenshotting so we could talk about it. What'd he do? What Dr. Oz do? He was. I felt like. Can y'all tell me what Dr. Oz? U.S. Senate, right? And then he did something else with. We'll get back to that, but yeah. I agree, Danny.
Community and of the people that they were targeting. Even though they're criminals, they were very concerned with their safety.
Cynthia B21, head of the health department. Thank you.
And getting them detained out of the community and into custody safely. They said, let's make sure everybody gets home safely today.
Dr. Phil, so you heard Gabe's reporting there, my conversation with him. Of the, nearly 1,200 people arrested on Sunday, nearly half of those people weren't considered people with criminal records, right? Their offense was that they were here illegally. You just said you were told the worst first. It appears, at least on this day, that's not exactly what happened. Again, as Gabe pointed out, it's very complex. But does it sow doubt now with Americans and maybe with the world that it is going to be a roundup? It's not just the worst first, it's whoever they can grab. Is that your sense?
Absolutely not. But let me tell you, they're in the country illegally. And Tom Homan's intention is if you're in the country illegally, you need to self-deport. Because if they catch you in the country illegally, you could be barred for coming back into the country for a number of years. And if they're forced into the community to arrest these people, they are going to check everyone that's with them at the time. And that's going to mean more people are arrested sooner and taken out of the country before they have an opportunity to leave voluntarily and then apply to come back in. So I'm not surprised that there are people that are being arrested, detained, and processed for deportation that are not violent criminals because they're being forced into the community to arrest these people that they could be picking up in jail and not encountering those people that aren't violent criminals.
Last question here, Dr. Phil.
In the country illegally.
Last question for you. Let's combine your psychology and the politics, if you will. Will President Trump, because the polls have showed that a majority of people do want undocumented immigrants to be deported, right? The polling is on his side. But if they start deporting the people who were here and here illegally but not committing crimes, and they separate families, or they're taking people out who have children who may be born in this country, are considered Americans, will Trump sort of lose the country, or at least the people who are favoring deporting the people right now, if they start to see those images?
Look, I don't think anybody wants to see families fragmented. And I know there are people that have been here a long time. They've done a good job. They're paying taxes. They're contributing. And I think there is some legislation afoot that I'm beginning to hear about where people could have an opportunity to get work permits and to, if they self-deport, to come back in under visas and things of that nature, where they could have a way to be here and find a path back to the United States, and everybody wants that. You know, Tom, I'm very pro-immigration. We need immigrants in this country. We need them for the workforce. We need their talents, their skills, their abilities. We need so many things that immigrants bring. Our birth rate is too low. We need immigration in this country. We're a country of immigrants. So I think there's got to be a way to work this out. And look, our immigration system is broken. When it takes 7 years to get an immigration hearing where you can get into the country properly, somebody's got to fix that system. So I think there have to be some things where we look for solutions, not just getting people out of the country, but finding a way to get them back into the country.
Dr. Phil, always a pleasure to talk to you here on Top Story. We thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Tom. Good night.
Okay, so it's something else. Conscious, don't have me crack up in here. Hey, Conscious, you have to do a show on this. I don't know anything. I know some, but I haven't been following every single thing. And I'm tell you what I do want to cover: the opening of the files. I want to go back to cover that. That's for sure. Sorry guys. I want to cover the opening of the JFK, Martin Luther King files. I want to know what that's about. I do want to review that here on the channel. But because I don't really understand it, and I know politics can get icky, so I won't start there because I don't understand. And I wonder if he talked with the families. Like, man, JFK story is a whole nother. The Kennedy family, we could spend. We need to do a series, years on just covering the Kennedys. It was like, ooh, they just, they called it the Kennedy curse. I call it something else, but. Then you have, did they check with those families to see if they wanted that? I don't know. But, so it's been some weird stuff going on in Chicago. So the day after Trump got elected, like the next school day, people said ICE ran up in the schools, right? So let's take a look, and they changed it and said it wasn't ICE. So it's been a lot of scary things going on to Chicago. So some of the population that are in okay, I'll say this. I wonder why they focus on Chicago. But if you're not here, you probably beyond the politics, I think it's the easiest. Anyone from Chicago, you could probably back me up or not back me up, but Chicago is the most segregated city in the world. And you got Little Italy, Chinatown, Ethiopian Village, I think it's called. I had to go, is it called Pilsen? You have, everybody's segregated. You have, it's a area where only some of my students that I used to work with at Illinois Institute, they were all Muslim, came from another country. They all live in this same neighborhood. Indian people live in another neighborhood. Russian people live in another neighborhood. I don't know who makes pierogies, because I love going to that neighborhood. They make pierogies. They live in another neighborhood. Everyone is split up, and it's so easy for them to go to that area. Okay. It's all the sanctuary cities. Okay, thank you. Is Texas a sanctuary city? Conscious, let me know. New York, exactly. Erica said, "Hey, good to see you." New York City is pretty segregated as well. They've been doing raids there, I believe, as well. Yeah, it's like Polish make pierogies. That's what I'm like. It's a city that makes it. Yes. So. Thanks, Brandon. So they went to a school and they raided it, but now I think it was to scare them. They said the Secret Service really went to the school. So now we're going to hear about that, but I think that was to scare what was to come. That's just me. I don't know. Let's take a listen. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Local elementary school on Friday. So Secret Service agents showed up at the school and the district mistakenly reported that they were immigration agents.
Well, new this morning, we have an additional response from the district and a Secret Service spokesperson. NBC5's Jen Schatz is in studio now with exactly what happened. And Jen, we just learned some new information.
That's right, Patrick. We did. Now, earlier this morning, we told you the Department of Homeland Security is comprised of several federal agencies, ICE being one of them, the Secret Service being another. Earlier this morning, a Secret Service spokesperson just clarified to NBC5 that their agents' credentials say both Homeland Security and Secret Service. Here's what CEO of CPS, Pedro Martinez, told us yesterday about Friday's incident at Hamline Elementary.
These were Homeland Security agents, and they showed their badges. They flashed their badges as Homeland Security agents.
Now, according to that Secret Service spokesperson who we heard from this morning, their badges only say United States Secret Service. Agents do not carry credentials which only say Homeland Security. Based on that, it should be clear which agency they represent. However, the staff member who spoke with them, according to Martinez, genuinely believed she was speaking with ICE agents. According to the Secret Service, their agents identified themselves to the school principal and left business cards.
She clearly felt that it was an ICE agent. She really felt that, and she was sincere. By the way, we don't have any confirmed evidence that there was any cards left. I'm not saying that they didn't, but we just don't have any confirmed evidence. We've checked that. We just don't.
Now, Martinez is calling this an unfortunate misunderstanding. He's also asking for empathy for district families who he says have been hearing rumors of possible ICE sightings recently. Nationally, the numbers show ICE arrests are on the rise right now. This past Thursday, agents arrested 538 undocumented immigrants from around the country, doubling the daily average from September. And Chicago, as we just told you about, has been one of the cities President Trump has said would be a focus of his planned immigration crackdowns. The Secret Service agents were at a home in back of the yards on Friday. That's near Hamline Elementary. They were investigating a threat against President Trump over a TikTok ban. As part of that probe, they also visited the school. Again, this incident was not immigration related.
Okay, let's go to this other video. I don't live, but I do hear my friends of they may live closer to the city, closer to downtown. they do say it's a lot going on, especially with Brandon Johnson opened up the neighborhoods to like made it like we used to call it like tent city in LA, made it like a tent city over there, and they've been having problems with the kids going to school and gangs. Let's see what happened. So what happened to all the money that was when they got sanctuary that came to Illinois? What happened to that money? You know what I mean? I don't know. You guys, it's a good time. Sorry, not trying to sweat you. Hit the like button if you can, and let's listen to this. She's from Chicago. Oh, while we wait on our 30-second commercial. How y'all doing today? Good evening. Good evening. And I appreciate y'all being here.
Violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country illegally who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge should leave.
Firm message there from Board of Czar Tom Homan on one of the Sunday talk shows over the weekend, throwing down the gauntlet. He was in Chicago over the weekend as federal agents began their targeted immigration enforcement operations in the Democrat-run city. Joining us now is Kata Truss, a Chicago resident. Kata, thank you for coming back on, and your reaction to what you saw happening in your city after speaking up about this as long as you have over the weekend.
My reaction has been somewhat excitement, but then also, you know, you can't see this happening and not have your heart hurt for some of the people who are going to be deported. And that's for the people who are hardworking, people who have come to this country. Now, those criminals who came here, which is what Tom Homan is targeting right now, you know, we feel good about the fact that they're being taken back to their countries and taken out of our neighborhoods. You know, we are already dealing with high crime. And so it's good to know that someone has our back. You know, I've been listening to our mayor and our governor the last couple of days, basically doubling down on not even being willing to assist in helping them to get criminals out of our community. And, you know, one of the things that you'll hear Mayor Brandon Johnson say, that crime is down in the city of Chicago. I live approximately 3 blocks from the mayor, and my husband was carjacked in front of our house on Monday. So I don't need to hear people talking to me about how we're being insensitive to other people when we're fighting our own issues right here in our community. And so to compile those with criminals from other places is unacceptable.
Yeah, well,
so we're excited about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you know, the administration has said, and you heard Tom Homan there, these initial arrests and deportations are targeted. They are going after criminals, known criminals, and those who have obviously committed illegal acts, even have ties to gangs. To your point, this is the mayor of your city, Brandon Johnson, defiant. Listen.
We are a welcoming city, and we are a sanctuary city. We are a sanctuary and welcoming state. That has not changed because of who won the election. And that's not going to change. Any of the measures that the president is looking to execute against working people in the city of Chicago, we will defend our city. It's just that simple.
Are there any Chicago residents who are opposed to this administration coming in and taking out and sending back those who have criminal backgrounds, are wanted for criminal acts, or even worse, have violent ties to gangs?
I'm sure that they're not. And I'm sure that you'll hear people say that there are people who are opposed to it. But for the majority of the citizens here in Chicago, we're not opposed to it. Let me tell you something. You know, our mayor is intent on protecting people who come from other places. We need our mayor to be intent on protecting the people who were born here, the people who were raised here, the people who have stake. And not that those people don't have stakes in these communities, but for those of us who have been fighting tirelessly to bring about change in our communities and have been told time after time again that there's no money, and to watch billions being spent on people who are not from here is a problem for most of Chicago. And it must be a problem for most of the country, because you can tell that in the way that people voted.
Yeah, and we hear the frustration and the urgency in your voice, and the numbers back up your concern. This is the total number of migrants in your city that have come in through December 18th. The influx topping 51,000. Just to give people an idea of what the city of Chicago has been dealing with. And to your point about the spending and how much this is costing the city in just a 2-year period, just over a 2-year period, $630 million. And Kata, I know you have been pointing out all that money that is being taken away from improving the school situation, the healthcare system. Obviously, the streets are dealing with a lot of crime. Final thought from you.
Final thoughts are, Tom Homan, you are welcome. I voted for President Trump. And let me tell you something. I was one of those lifelong Democrats. I started voting at 18, voted in every election, voted Democrat in every election except this last one, because I'm just tired. I'm tired of the same old thing happening from the Democratic Party. I'm so glad that President Trump is now delivering on some of his promises. I heard Stephen Smith ask this earlier on Bill Maher's show. What has the Democrats delivered for us lately?
That is an important message and an important question right now. Kata, thank you so much, and always good to talk to you. And Tom Homan will be joining us live at 1 o'clock on America Reports today, and we'll certainly play out your...
Exactly, Erica. I was over here like, I cannot. I was trying to I was like, I cannot. Oh my goodness. I didn't get that. She said, so Mayor Brandon Johnson lives in the Austin neighborhood of Chicago, if you didn't know. It's like on the west side. And so exactly, Erica was like, well, did he get was he carjacked by immigrants, or was he carjacked by, what happened? We don't know. Okay, I want to share this with you. Thanks for sticking here with me. We trying, y'all. This is a struggle stream because I'm sitting over here like, what is happening? Is anyone concerned about their health? All right, let's see. Is this what we want? So did y'all hear about this? So Illinois, is she a senator? I think so. State senator asked prison workers to contact her about undocumented immigrants. I won't rat you out. Senator Terry Bryant. We're going to have to cover that tomorrow. I was like, oh my goodness. So she telling the people to snitch in the jail. She telling them to go and snitch. She won't tell on you. I was like, it has really, it's going down, y'all. Be prepared. I say have a passport on hand. Have an emergency plan for your family. Make sure you have cash on hand, because in case they decide they turn the debit cards off. I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all. So here we go. We're gonna find. Sorry, got tongue tied. We're gonna leave it here with the Trump freezes federal grants. What's included and what this could mean to you. And you guys will have a call-in show. We'll do that soon so that y'all could tell me your thoughts, because I don't know. Let's go back to the freeze this morning. We went to talk about the other things. Let's play this. And I'll be back later. Let's take this on down. She said, I won't snitch on you. Just tell me. I'm like, whoa. And I wonder, so if they don't check you in, how do they not know you're, like, if you don't have an address, if you don't have an ID, how do you get around that? I wonder. Hold on, guys. Sorry.
Stephen Holt joins us now in studio to break. And we're also expecting more executive action from President Donald Trump today, this time dealing with defense issues in the military. Stephen Holt joins us now in studio to break down what could be coming. Stephen.
That's right, Mayor. We continue to stand by, waiting to see what the president will do this afternoon. Many of these executive orders expected to reverse policies that were enacted under the Biden administration. That includes a 2021 measure banning military discharges based on gender identity. That order would also bar the use of identification-based pronouns in the Department of Defense. We're also expecting an order that would reinstate troops that were discharged for refusing COVID vaccines. They would receive full back pay. The president also wants to end diversity, equity, and inclusion practices in the Department of Defense and Homeland Security Department, including reviewing the curriculum at U.S. military academies. The president also wanting the U.S. to create its own version of Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system that we've seen used during the Israel-Hamas war. These orders coming fresh off the confirmation of the president's picks to lead the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security. New Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth started his first full day at the Pentagon today. Now, he says he supports the president's deployment of U.S. troops to the southern border, but hasn't indicated exactly what their duties will be there. Military is barred from law enforcement activities in the U.S., but the president could invoke what is the Insurrection Act and the Alien Enemies Act to essentially override that rule. So we'll see what happens in that case on the southern border, and we'll see what executive orders happen later on today. Marion, back to you.
Thank you, Stephen.
I think I did the wrong one.
Chicago police are searching for one of our colleagues here at NBC.
Wait a minute. Did y'all hear about this? Wait a minute. Wait. Was this the one? Hold on. NBC 5. Hold on. Might have to pick this up tomorrow. Coming, guys. Y'all got these glasses on. Yeah, it was. So this guy. All right, let's play it. So one of the news. I'm not officially a news person, but since I've been covering Dalton, I've gotten to know a couple of them. So this gentleman is missing, and it came across my line the other day. I mean today, and I was just like, wait, is this today? Is this recent? And I'm glad it popped up again, just in case anyone's seen him. Okay, let's put it up right here. He's missing, and he's a NBC 5 employee. Let's go to it. Just want to end it there, then read some comments.
Chicago police are asking for help finding a man last seen on Friday. Kevin Spencer works in the IT department at NBC5. Co-workers became concerned when he did not show up for his shift yesterday. They say that is not like him. If you know anything about his whereabouts, you're asked to contact the CPD's Special Victims Unit. And Chicago police are asking for help.
Okay. All right. Just want to put that out there. Let's see if we want to finalize with any. Conscious says, I believe in immigration. We are all immigrants, but do it legally. Oh, Winky, you were responding when you said fake documents. I was like, how do you get fake documents, right? Yeah, I forgot about that part. I'm worried about the kids. Me too. Karen's Rusty. I'm worried about the children too. And okay, we'll have to do another video because it's something like, even if you were born to undocumented parents, they want to not accept your citizenship, right? Lala, hey Lala. Lala said it's supposed to sign some more orders today. Sloan on mic, good to see you. May God have mercy in this country. Winky Wonder, I just have a feeling the housekeepers and landscapers of these politicians are probably undocumented workers. Somebody said that earlier. They were like, check Mar-a-Lago. And it's, okay, so also in LA, some people, they have the rich and famous, right? They have nanny. I don't want to say like someone to take care of their baby, a housekeeper, and they sometimes be undocumented workers that send money back home to their family, and they have raised the baby up to like 20 years old. I've seen it happen. You back here? Thank you so much for saving the day. All right, you guys, I will be back. I appreciate you guys so much for joining me. Let's just pray for everything. We'll see what else is. So, for now, maybe JB Pritzker and Johnson should speak through a spokesperson. Yeah. Let's see what tomorrow will bring. I'm married to a Mexican-born, but now U.S. citizen, and this is so close to my heart. Oh, yeah, Winky. And you know what? Because, I know a lot of people that came to this country, and they went to school, and then when they got their citizenship, they would come on a work visa, educational visa, student visa, education visa, and then they got their citizenship here, whether they married somebody or, man, can that still happen? I don't know why I just thought of that. Whether they married someone and got their citizenship or they got it through their education and whatever they had to do, all these rules are changing. So, I don't know. I knew someone that was on a visa for a long time. They went from student visa to work visa, then to like the 90-day fiance, K9. I think it's K1 visa. So, yeah. I'm sorry, Winky. It's just... And, okay, so now I was talking to my friend, and we were watching a documentary. Winky, you might know about this. Is that Eva? She was on Desperate Housewives, Eva Longoria. And she was saying how Texas was part of Mexico at one point. And, the U.S. took, I'm making a long story short, but the U.S. took that part of Mexico. Guys, let me know if you heard this. And then all of a sudden, Mexicans are illegal. We took Texas. Okay. Yeah, we need to watch that documentary together. Would that be a good one, y'all? Because I forgot. And I was like, why is all these streets called saying this and that? It's LA the same way? I don't know. But I do know that, not LA, parts of Los Angeles, but I do know Texas. Yeah, we took Texas. And then it's like, no, you're illegal. And it was pretty interesting to hear her speak about it. And she was really passionate about it. I don't know if she's a Republican, Democrat, or what she identifies as, but I thought that was a really good documentary because I'm not from Texas, so I didn't have an interest in it. And I'm not from Mexico, so I really wasn't paying attention. Now I'm like, well, that's bogus. Okay. Like, okay. California, Arizona, and New Mexico once part of Mexico. Thank you, Brandon. You be, well, you know what? I'm gonna send you some bullet points before I start my show and be like, Brandon, what should I add? Thank you. Kiva says we don't want Mexicans in this country unless they're doing the jobs that Americans do want, or don't want, maybe do want. I don't know. This is just, man. Let's guys, be prepared. That's all. We're going to have to do a show on how to prepare for this, everything going on, because we weren't prepared for COVID. Remember, we were caught off guard during a shutdown. Start stocking up. Have your canned goods. Have an emergency exit plan. If our phones shut down, what do? Do your family know where to meet if everybody's phone shut down? You know what I mean? Do we all go to the house and wait for each other? Do we all meet at the Chicago Bean? What do we do? Instead of you driving, looking around for dad, I'm looking for you, What do we do? Have those emergency plans and have enough water. Have your ID updated. Have a little cash on hand just in case they shut the credit cards and the debit cards down. I don't even know what else to say. I don't even know what to say. Have your gas tank filled up. It's just weird, right? We don't even know what's going to happen. We don't even know. This is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Karen said, I temporarily live with my son. Oh, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. You know, when your son you get to return the favor. That's beautiful. Yeah, but still have a plan. If your son's at work and the phones go off, do you stay in the house until he come home? How many days? You know, what's the emergency plan? All the Americans will be asked to experience immigration, and all the Americans will be asked to experience immigrants how to survive. Oh, yeah. Say that. We will be asking them, how do we make it? Because we're really bougie, right? We think we're supposed to get up and we push we can just push a button and our car start. We push a button, an app, and turn down our heat. We go to Starbucks and scan our phone. Everything's just so automatic, and we're just flying through. We're not worried about no food. We have enough money. We have Link. Okay, so what if they stop providing the food? What if the grocery stores are overwhelmed? Like what's the name? Kwame Raoul said, we're the number one producers of eggs. They're talking about they might not be able to inspect the eggs for salmonella. So that might slow down us having eggs. Okay, so do you know how to grow a tomato if need be? Do you know how to plant a seed and grow a head of cabbage if need be? Do you know how to fish? You know, we're gonna have to. What we gonna do if we can't go to YouTube and Google? YouTube how to fish. What we gonna do? This is crazy. Not trying to panic. I'm just thinking some stuff we take for granted. Like we just so used to, like, oh my God, what I'm gonna do if I can't get no edge control? I'm just thinking about what's gonna happen. It's crazy. Yeah. We all meet up at Burgundy Blue Commentary House. Address in the description. Wait a minute. Do y'all really want to meet up in Dalton? That's hear him. Do you really want to come to Dalton? That's your emergency plan? Well, you in danger, boy. If your emergency plan is to come to Dalton, hey, Miss Indies, you could just get on a raft and go to sea. That's all you can do. Bring Wilson the volleyball with you. That's all I got for you if your plan is to come to Dalton. Hello, Miss Indies. Winky said the immigrants know how to get by on practically nothing, and they know how to treat medical conditions and say, yeah. Wait a minute. What I'm gonna say, Winky? Yeah, I'm stressed today. I need a nerve pill. Ain't no nerve pill. What kind of medicines can you grow? What kind of herbs will heal you? What kind of healthy tea? This is crazy. Exactly, Erica said, already seeing signs at the grocery stores about the shortage on sourcing eggs. Really? My friend, he went to the grocery store yesterday. He told me eggs were $8. I said, what kind of eggs are those? Can I use them in my fallopian tubes as well? What kind of eggs are those? Goodness. I do natural, but I still I might be wanting a little edge. I might want a little swoop, bang, like braid my hair down, a little something. We can meet up at St. Patrick where the lights are on, you guys. Oh my, what happened to the chickens? Lola said Biden killed over 1 million chickens with cause 60. What did he do with them? What were they bad chickens? Or were they not healthy? What's going on? They would give you some tequila for your nerves. I'm telling you. Conscious says, I just can't. They wanted sanctuary cities for Americans to pay for it. I'm out. Sorry. Conscious, make sure you talk about it on your channel. I love to hear your point of view because I just don't know. But I remember it was New York, right? They went to New York. They went to Chicago. Where else did they go to was it Philadelphia? I can't remember where else. Conscious, tell me what are sanctuary cities on your page, please. Oh, Aldi, 2 lemon on eggs, bird flu. Oh, well, oof. Oh, goodness. It was this. Remember that? I need to go back and watch that. What was that documentary? Was it Food Inc? It stopped me from eating all that stuff. I think it was Food Inc. Was that it? Yeah. If you ever want to stop eating meat, watch the documentary Food Inc. Okay? You won't eat meat at all. What is a chicken nugget? I'll wait. And they teach us to give our babies chicken nuggets and fries. I'll wait. We don't even know what a chicken nugget is. Is it chicken? Yeah, we all need to adopt plant-based lifestyles. Yeah. You know what's so funny? If we probably couldn't eat all this craziness, we'd probably less sickness, less diabetes, right? If we couldn't eat all that stuff. I agree. We don't need the sanctuary cities. Myrtle Beach is a sanctuary city? Really? A guy on Media's Touch YouTube channel was talking about it. He went to a restaurant and was charged a surcharge for eggs. Okay, so how do y'all feel about this? I was talking to a friend about this. Actually, I went to a restaurant and I was eating by myself. Don't put the violins out. But it was like, I'm going to get something to eat right quick. And so they sat me at a booth. You know how those shareable booths, like it's a table, but it's like one long booth on one side and the chairs on the other side. And it was a lady over there by herself. She was younger than me. And so I was like, oh man. So I was trying to avoid eye contact, and we just said hello and we ended up talking. And we were looking at what each other had on each other's plate. And she was like, how they charging us? We just got to talking. She was like, can you imagine we're sitting here paying for lettuce, paying for tomatoes, paying for eggs, and this all comes to us free. Now, I do understand the farmers got to get their money and stuff like that. But she was like, this is stuff that, and we're paying premium price for avocado toast with an egg on it. Premium, with 1 egg, 1 tomato, 1 spread of avocado, and a slice of. Okay, I'm back. My phone, my iPad had died, but we're paying for that, and that's something that just is, like, who has the best water, the best bottled water? Like, I know I like to get alkaline water, but am I really drinking alkaline water? Like, I don't know. It says alkaline on it. Am I drinking it? I don't know. Hiram says, I'm thinking of going vegan, but I like alcohol. Yeah, a lot. Don't eat eggs. Prices will go down. Okay, so like, yeah, if we don't buy them. But we need eggs and everything almost, right? But we don't, because everything, you're right. Miss Mandy, how are you? Yeah, they freeze it, Miss Mandy. This is a good topic. Oh, let me make sure I'm subscribed over there. Miss Mandy, yeah, they have we in danger. And it was like the sanctuary cities. It's very interesting. I would make sure I was subscribed because I haven't seen your content Miss Rand. There you go. Okay. Wyoming gal. I had a breakfast chorizo burrito this morning. That was not eggs. Where'd you get it from? People need to start growing gardens inside. It's easy and cheap. Ooh, conscious. Okay. Wyoming says, I have one chicken that is still laying this winter. Usually they don't lay in the winter. Oh, that's a special kind of. Wait, are chickens? Yeah, chickens are girls, right? Special type of gas. I still grown my tomatoes upside down. Ooh. Do you grow your tomatoes inside? I've seen people do that. Le Blue water. Ooh, that sounds fancy, Winky. I don't know if Aquafina. I like every water. I don't like Dasani. Oh, bye, Winky. Have a great day. Karen says, maybe we can see where the federal freezing is and talk about it tomorrow, too. Yeah, I'm going to put it on the list, Karen. Thanks for keeping me updated, too. I appreciate you. Chickens, girls, roosters, boys. Okay, got it. Thanks, Chavis. It's so good to see you. Hi to Mr. and Mrs. Greenard. Hey, look, Mandy, at least Mandy, you can at least give us a nice fresh tomato if they just cut us off from everything. Oh, this is so interesting. So maybe we'll be taking new hobbies. You know, we have to be prepared. Yeah, they cut us on off in Illinois. So Miss Mandy, we in trouble. Karen, we in trouble. We in danger, girl. The food boxes stopped in Thornton Township. Meals on Wheels don't got their money. Medicaid blacked out today. They're saying LIHEAP, which was another thing that Thornton Township used to help people with, you know, through LIHEAP. We might not be able to help people with their lights and gas this winter. Trump said, no me queremos. Get it together. I visited food pantry sometimes. Yeah. But our food pantries are from Greater Chicago Depository, all of them here. But if they stop the Meals on Wheels, I think they do depend on them to get the food as well. We in danger. They cut it off this morning. He said over $1 million. He said no, I'm sorry. They were supposed to pay. I got the number mixed up. So this morning, picture this. Governor Pritzker got out of bed. He went down to his office and he turned the lights on and he got a phone call. People from the public aid office is like, we can't even filter through the Medicare billing. And they lost all the money they were supposed to get just for today. It was in the millions. So he made a call to Kwame Raoul and all of this good stuff. They started to sue with other states, Trump, for cutting it off. And Trump said, no, it was an accident. It's back up today. And so Governor Pritzker is all mad. Like, that wasn't no accident. We know you did that on purpose. So I think that Trump is trying to say, this is a taste of what's going to happen if you don't do what we told you to do. Am I wrong, you guys? Here go a little taste. Now you see what one day did to you. You're scrambling. You're scrambling like roaches right now. And also it affected Head Start programs. People are saying if they can't get their payments on time, they might have to lay off people. It's a trickle down effect again. And but this is the thing, the schools, some of the school grants was like, some of the schools' income that was coming from the federal side of things, they just stopped supporting Illinois. It seems like they was like, no, we're not in that. We're not in that. Whatever Trump tell us to do, we about to do. Okay. So it just, that whole blink out today really scared people in Illinois. Yeah, we in danger, girl. Molly, you in danger, girl. That's what, like, Dalton, we in danger, girl. We can't even go down to the good old y'all don't be out there in the streets on a good Friday night and have to end up in Planned Parenthood. Y'all gonna be in danger, girl. And boy, ain't no Medicaid. Y'all, I'm going to end it there. Y'all make sure you take care of yourself and each other. We made it to 9K. Oh my gosh. We made it, y'all. It was a struggle. Okay. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for having the conversation. Thanks to all my mods. I appreciate every one of you guys. Thanks for bearing with me because I'm not the end all be all. I don't know everything. So I appreciate the discussion. So let's discuss stuff. Because you guys opened my eyes to a whole new side of things. I'm so glad that we're so diverse over here. All right, you guys. Love you. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. And y'all make sure you y'all go get some alcohol and peroxide because they closing down Medicaid, child. Bye.
Commentary blue, commentary burgundy, commentary, comment blue, commentary, comment burgundy blue, commentary blue, commentary burgundy, commentary, comment.